Hi guys, again welcome back to our FIFA World Cup daily show on Rep Sports, and we have got our first two quarter finalists, France and Morocco. Obviously, Morocco have thrashed the co-host Canada by 3-0, and on the other hand, it was France who have somehow squeezed past the compact defense of Paraguay to seal their tickets in the quarter final. And obviously, to talk about these two fixtures, but also we'll look forward to two blockbuster fixtures tonight. First, Brazil facing Norway, and then a battle between England and Mexico. So, a lot to talk about in this show. First, Rwanda, what about France display against Paraguay? Do you think they really need to be concerned about their lack of fluidity that we all have seen against Paraguay?
Well, I think many European nations got the flavor of how Copa America is physically. You know, Mbappe coming on to the post-match press conference and saying that if they thought that we would come in our tuxedos, it's no, and if they want to play dirty, we can play dirty as well. So things have gone that far that Mbappe coming on to the press conference and saying such a bold statement on Paraguay's physical display of football, and it shows how Latin American football, especially these days, how physical they are. And so it's good to see that. Smaller teams in on paper, of course, teams like Cabo Verde giving challenge to Argentina, teams like Japan give challenge to Brazil, Paraguay to France. All these teams are all the three bigger names that I mentioned: Brazil, Argentina, France. They are all contenders of the competition, and Paraguay, Cabo Verde, Japan. They are all considered to be the underdogs, and they have tested the nerves of these big boys, right, in this competition, and that's so great
Yep.
to see. Of course, France. I don't think France will have a lot to worry about. Against Morocco, it will be a cracker of a game. Unfortunately, one big team will be eliminated. Morocco will look into getting a revenge of last time, but yes, France. I will keep France a bit ahead, of course, but it won't be that easy for France as well. Morocco is a top team coming into this match after a 3-0 against Canada. Canada have also performed well so far. It will be a cracker of a game. France, of course, a better side on paper. They have lots. Uh, they have quality. Michael Olise. Yes, of course. Yesterday's match, they, as a group, collectively, perhaps they were held at bay for most of the period of the time. 70 minutes, the penalty came. A lot of fouls. 13 fouls for Paraguay and 11 committed by France. So it was a quite challenging match to be very honest. But against Morocco, both the teams know how to win the matches. It will be more of an open play. I think that we will see goals, and France perhaps will make it through to the next round.
We'll come to the Morocco versus Canada game later, but before that,
Yeah.
Somnath, do you also agree with Rohan? That do you think that there is no need to be concerned about France because France head coach Didier Deschamps also mentioned after the match, it was a grueling challenge for France, to play in that sweltering heat because the temperature is around 41, 42 degrees Celsius. It was feeling like 43 or 44. So do you think that France have passed a tactical test against Paraguay?
I mean, it's never that easy to play in that heat, and obviously against a team like Paraguay, they will test your patience and committing fouls, getting those yellow cards. It always disrupts the flow of the game. We know that the type of football France usually plays, it is generally through the middle. Uh, Especially based on the grounded passes and all. So obviously, when a team tries to disrupt that passing, they will obviously commit fouls, and after then more fouls. But I think it was a challenging situation for France against Paraguay because first of the weather effect, and obviously then the physical team of Paraguay. I think. It was a good tactic from Paraguay that first the France team, they knew that the France team won't press that much in that hit. If they would have pressed, then the game could have gone anywhere in the second half. But apart from the weather, I think the France team had their chances. I mean, most of the ball position were of France actually. They have created multiple chances, but yes, they have failed to uh, uh, capitalize those chances, obviously. But again, a crucial penalty from Kylian Mbappe just won the game then and there. And obviously, I think France, nothing to worry about France really, because in the next round, I think they will be good to go. I think against Morocco, the temperature will be pleasant. Kind of, I don't know where they will play in the quarterfinals, but I think they won't face this much of heat that they faced in the match against Paraguay. But yes, still, would say the France team played better football than Paraguay, and it was just a bad day. I will say, despite of the temperature and all, it was just a bad day. In the quarterfinal, we will see a blockbuster game, just like Rwanda said, France versus Morocco, a treat to watch. It could be a repeat of the 2022 quarterfinal, semi-final. Sorry, my bad. Then yeah, we are to see a very exciting game in the quarterfinals.
I think Paraguay also deserve the credit. The way they have defended. Till I think 70, till 64th minute. Because after that they considered a penalty. Committing that foul on Desiree, and after that the game totally changed after Mbappe converted that penalty. Paraguay, we all know they knocked out Germany, and they also had a similar plan against France. Of course, for France, they have identified that Mikel Olise is the creative playmaker for France, is who has the responsibility to stitch all the attacks from the midfield, and they had a special plan for Mikel Olise, and they totally crowded the middle block for France, and that obviously made it uncomfortable for Kylian Mbappe, Dembele, or Mikel Olise till 64th minute. But obviously, this France team, they I mean, alongside playing positional football, they also know how to play dirty football as well against teams like Paraguay or underdog teams who play with a low block or mid channel block. So obviously this France team have every kind of weapon, every kind of tools to win this championship. Whichever team aiming to win this World Cup, they will have to get past this French team. But Rwanda, what about Morocco? I mean, they are no more global dark horse now. They have proven contenders this World Cup as well.
Two things, Rahul. For Paraguay and both Cabo Verde, I missed yesterday's show because I went to sleep around 7:30 in the morning. Couldn't wake up. But these teams like Paraguay, Cabo Verde, and all, who are uh, declared as the underdog against a team like Argentina and France, they know what to do. They have their jobs in places. They know we have to block whatever the attacks that come. They know that for Argentina, the play builds around Messi, and they had Messi in close control. For France, Mikel Olise is the player who gets all those movements up and supplies the ball. They know how to block. So they have their plans in places, and they know how to get past all these big teams. And for when France will face a Morocco, it will be more of a open play from both sides, because both of the teams are not that underdog. If you consider the recent forms, yes, of course, Morocco will be perhaps a 45 to a 50 to a 55 for France, but when it comes, but teams like Paraguay, Cabo Verde, they will not give you space to breathe. They will give their all out, and they will actually frustrate you throughout the game. For Morocco, when they face France, they will have their motto as well to get into the French attack, score a goal, get the match done. Maybe get a goal and then fall back and attack. But this France side, if you allow them space, they will hurt you. So Morocco will also know that what they have to do, and they are not the underdogs anymore. They are in the top 10 of the world. They can go through. Last time they were knocked out in the semifinals. This time they face that battle much earlier in the competition. It will be a steep ask for them, but for France, who are in such a good form, it will take one bad day in the office, and if they can be knocked out. And if Morocco can get that advantage done, they will actually upset France. I would say still not likely, but France will have a tough ask against Morocco as well, because this Morocco side is not the Morocco side of 2024 or 25, 2014 or 15 or 16, where they were at the 80s and 90s of the world ranking. In 10 years, from 84 in 2014 to 2026, they are currently the world number 7. So it's a massive progression that the Morocco side have made, and they do have this thing to hurt France in this stage of the competition.
Absolutely, and also OCP is a phosphate company in Morocco. We all know that Morocco is rich in phosphate production, and one of the biggest company in Morocco, that is OCP. They are also playing a huge role in football development of Morocco. They have been the financial sponsor of the Moroccan football team since 2024. Since 2010,
But
Moroccan
Rahul,
government
money is not the only thing that we have learned from teams
absolutely
like Qatar and Saudi
planning
and all.
structure.
Everything has to be in place. Qatar will perhaps
True.
spend combined more budget than many of the three, four countries together playing this World Cup. For Cabo Verde, one player in Qatar might be earning more than the entire team combined in the Cabo Verde national team, right? So a lot of other things need to be also in place, and Morocco have done a great job, which will serve as a case study for upcoming nations who are trying to build their football structure rather than changing the name of the federation.
Absolutely, and hopefully, this time also they will, progress further at this World Cup. But similarly, like Morocco, another nation who are also scripting a different story at this World Cup, obviously Norway, and now they will face a challenge of, a Brazil team tonight. Again, Brazil are back at the MetLife Stadium, and also heat will be concerned for both the teams because the temperature at MetLife, I mean, in New York will be around New Jersey will be around 41 42 degree. It will feel actually like 43 degrees Celsius. But Somnath, do you think Brazil need to worry about Erling Haaland, because Carlo Ancelotti is saying that they don't need to have a separate plan for Haaland? Do you also think so?
Once again, we will see this rivalry between Erling Haaland and Gabriel Magalhaes. We have seen this in Premier League also when Manchester City played Arsenal in the Premier League. There was a clip that after Erling Haaland scored the goal, he took the ball and threw it towards Gabriel Magalhaes' head, and it went viral like crazy. I think that these two players always have a good rivalry when these two are against each other on the pitch. Once again, it will be key how it will be interesting how Gabriel Magalhaes actually blocks Erling Haaland, because the he's a player in form, to be honest. The type of goals he's scoring, we may debate in that tap ins and all, but I think he's a striker in form. But apart from that, if we talk about Brazil, then their strength lies in their attacking third, obviously. And if we talk about Norway, their weakness lies in their defense. Not a prob. I would say not a good and compact defense for Norway, and it will be a problem for the Scandinavian country as well. Because if you talk about Brazil, then again, Vinicius Junior, player like Ryan, who is improving day by day. We have Matthias Kuna, then again, players like Gabriel Martinelli coming off the bench and scoring late winners. Then the Brazilian side, and the positive thing about this Brazilian team is that match by match, day by day, they are seeming like a good team. They are seeming like a settled team. Obviously, winning matches 3-0, 2-0, obviously dominating matches. It's a good thing, but when the opposition scores first and you have to come back in that match, then how you respond? I think against Japan, somewhat against Morocco, we have seen that, and that's a very big positive for Brazil, because earlier Brazil, in the knockout especially, Brazil did not get back into the game after conceding first. But now things have changed under Carlo Ancelotti, and when your coach is Don Carlo, I think you are destined to do comeback in several games, not one game, many more games. I would say, just like the Japan game, Norway game will be tough for Brazil, but I don't think the kind of competition Japan gave to Brazil, Norway will be able to give that to Brazil. So obviously, Brazil will have their advantage to go to the quarterfinals, but still, it's FIFA World Cup. I mean, Paraguay, the kind of performance Paraguay performed against France, the kind of performance actually Canada showed in the first half. The 3-0 scoreline against Canada, the Morocco's 3-0 scoreline, it's very unfair actually. The kind of football Canada played in the first half was absolutely brilliant.
But they couldn't convert
So
most of the chances. Morocco
yes,
converted
yes.
the chances that they have created.
Absolutely, Morocco played in spells. In the entire match, they had around 5 to 6 big chances, and they have scored 3 goals. And that's how clinical Morocco is when it comes to counter attacks and build up. So obviously, it will be a very interesting match between Norway and Brazil. Let's see who wins. But yes, I think Brazil has a slight advantage before going to this match.
And also the key forward of Morocco, Ismail Saibari, who scored almost in the first, almost in every game, so far at this World Cup. He will be missing the rest of this FIFA World Cup because he got injured and leaped onto the pitch at the first half. So obviously a big blow for Morocco, but still, Morocco, the way they performed in the second half, that shows their class. They are also their capability, the way they actually dismantled Canada in the second half. That's about Morocco and Canada, but obviously we're talking about Brazil versus Norway. Rwanda, how challenging will it be for Norway at this kind of temperature, because Norway in the temperature, in Norway even in the summer it's around I think 15 or 16 degrees Celsius, but in America it's in New Jersey it's around I think now it's 41, 42 degrees Celsius.
Well, we have thought that Norway would face trouble on this weather issue since the beginning only. They have quite performed well throughout so far. But yes, in terms of legacy, Brazil are better, way better better off even if you consider the current situations as well. But Norway, yes, they will face issues. Even there were reports of rescheduling the England versus Mexico match as well because of
Absolutely.
temperature issues. So overall, every team is facing such issues, right? But yes, Norway will face trouble, but they have been acclimatized for this 1 month, which we have seen, and Norway have played good. Brazil, of course, they will have better off in these weather conditions because Brazil is also more of a place where they face with such weather
Mhm.
conditions. Norway will have some issues with that, but I think if Norway has the potential to hurt Brazil, but Brazil is anyway. I would say ahead, but I'm more looking forward to the England versus Mexico game at Azteca.
Absolutely, and we also need to talk about Brazil probable playing 11 because Brazil most likely to miss their number 10 Lucas Paqueta
Hmm.
because of injury. But Casemiro most likely will be available at the midfield. He will be shouldering the midfield responsibility alongside Bruno Guimaraes. But who will replace Lucas Paqueta? Will it be Enric, or do you think it will be Neymar starting from the beginning alongside Vini? So that's an interesting decision that Carlo Ancelotti needs to take. But as of now, most of the media reports are saying that most likely, in absence of Lucas Paqueta, maybe Carlo Ancelotti will bring change in the formation as well. So now it remains to be seen who will play, whether it's Enric. With Enric as a striker, Matthews Kuna will deep down a bit in the midfield, and obviously Rafinha is back in training, but he's yet to get that match fitness. So Rafinha will also be unavailable for this Norway game. But apart from that, the whole Brazil team is fit for this Norway. And I think obviously the battle will be defined by how Brazil defense tackle Erling Haaland, and also I think Vinicius Junior. Brazil will rest a lot on Vinicius Junior as well because Norway's defense haven't been that much compact so far at this World Cup. So Vinicius Junior, Mathis Kuna, Ryan, they need to take the opportunity of their defensive failures tonight. Uh, Another game, of course we're talking about temperature condition in this Brazil versus Norway game, but so far so many media talks going around surrounding this Mexico versus England game because of the altitude challenges,
Hmm.
then the hostile atmosphere, the reception they got in England got actually in Mexico. So much media talks going around. Shomnath, what kind of challenges do you think England will face against Mexico on or off the pitch?
I mean, the entire World Cup in USA is completely on one side, and this Mexico and England game is completely on another side. I think it seems like England and Mexico, they are playing on another planet right now. That the conditions are so hostile that England, delayed their trip to Mexico. They stayed a bit longer, 2 to 3 days longer in Kansas City, where actually England team were based to train in this World Cup. But obviously when they landed in Mexico, they were welcomed with booze and all. And we know in the previous round of 32 match, the Mexico Ecuador match, how the Ecuador team faced challenges, staying in the hotels in the Mexico City, when in the night, when the time is to sleep, say hundreds of fans in Mexico City came to down the streets, and in front of the hotels they burst firecrackers, they chanted slogans, they shouted like anything to disrupt the Ecuadorian players sleep. So that's how crazy they are when it comes to football. And England camp saw this, so obviously they delayed their stay in Mexico City. And obviously, uh, according to reports, not sure, but according to several reports, the England Football Association has booked 15 hotels across Mexico City, so that the actual destination or the actual accommodation of theirs stays in the shadows. The fans won't be able to guess the actual accommodation. So that's how they are preparing. And obviously, the actual hotel which they are staying in, it is completely covered with national security guards, and obviously police patrols and everything. So yes, England are preparing their level best, and also tackle this high altitude, because as Estadio Azteca is around 2000 meters above sea level. So when there is a high intensity match, there will be breathing problems as well. So to tackle that, the England camp will be using Viagra to maintain their energy levels. And obviously, it is a debatable topic, that why a drug is to be used in a World Cup match or a competitive game. But under I think the WADA rules, Viagra is not considered to be a drug which is banned in sporting aspects. So obviously it is just a mental thing, nothing much physical. Obviously it provides energy, but it has nothing to do with breathlessness and all. But I think interesting measures from the England team just before the clash against Mexico in the Estadio Azteca. It will be very interesting. If England wins this game, it will be historic in the Mexican football as well, because very few teams actually have defeated Mexico in that very stadium. So this game will be much more interesting than the Brazil Norway game, and I will be looking forward to this game, obviously.
Absolutely, and last time England played at this Azteca Stadium, that was against Argentina, where England actually lost to Argentina 2-1, and Maradona scored that historic hand of God goal. So England also don't have sweet memories at this very venue. So hopefully they will look to turn their memories tonight against Mexico, and also Mexico as a host, one of the host nation. They also playing will be playing with all their hearts out. To knock out England from this World Cup. Final few minutes. First, I will go to Rwanda. Your prediction for the Brazil versus Norway game, and also the England versus Mexico.
Well, for Brazil Norway, I would say 2-1 in favor of Brazil. But when it comes to the Mexico and England game, it will be a cracking encounter. In 89 matches at the Azteca, Mexico have only lost twice. So that
Wow,
shows the dominance that the side
rough.
have at that
Great.
stadium. We have similar stories in Bolivia as well, at the La Paz Stadium, which is the highest football stadium. And Bolivia have hardly lost any matches over there. Even Argentina went to play at the La Paz Stadium, and Di Maria, Messi all vomited in the halftime break because of these altitude conditions. So these conditions are difficult to play especially for teams like England and all, who are accustomed to playing in perhaps the best weather conditions possible, best pitch conditions possible throughout the year. They play in the top European clubs with perfect weather conditions, it will be tough for England to beat Mexico at the Azteca, and especially with a capacity crowd. Mexico at the Azteca in such a phase of the competition is a huge boost for the Mexican national team, with so many, the whole packed stadium cheering for them in their favorable weather conditions. So uh, if you consider by the on paper squad strength, I would say perhaps England, in terms of club football names, England would be maybe 2-3% ahead. But if you
Mhm.
consider the overall conditions, I would keep Mexico ahead in this match, and Mexico will perhaps go through to the next round by a one goal difference maybe.
Indeed, Shomnath, your prediction. Whom do you think will end their journey tonight, and which teams will go through into the next round?
For the Brazil Norway game, I think Brazil will win the match 3-1, I would say, because just the scoreline is big, just because Norway's defense is not that compact. But obviously, Erling Haaland, I think he will score a goal tonight. But Brazil won't face any difficulties against Norway. Though anything can happen, but I think it will be 3-1. But for the England and Mexico game, you actually can't predict this type of games. It will be a very, very close game, not a high scoring game, very close game, just 1-0 type of match. It can go any side. And actually, on some reports were also, saying that many members of the cartel, the famous Mexican cartel, could actually, attend this match. It will be very, very interesting. In the World Cup, we haven't seen such things. But Mexico, when you are in Mexico, you know about cartel, and obviously
Gives
the
us
streets
Narcos
are owned.
vibe of Colombia.
Absolutely. In the Mexico, it's far more dangerous. The streets are controlled by the cartel. The government is obviously in the main scheme of things, but the streets are actually ruled by the cartel. It will be very interesting. But I think I would give a wild prediction. I think Mexico will win this match 1-0.
Who knows? Maybe the match heads into the tiebreaker, and Mexico register a nerve-wracking win against England. Let's see. Uh,
But
and
Rahul,
also our viewers.
before you end,
Yeah.
when we started this live series at the start of the World Cup, it was
Yes.
usually me wearing jerseys. On a couple of occasions you wore, when Somnath used to wear the sports t-shirt. Now it's finally that we all three are wearing jerseys, and Somnath chose to
Absolutely.
wear such a jersey who haven't been part of the World Cup for three editions.
Let's see
So
how far Mexico and Brazil goes in this World Cup.
yes, yes. So that's good to see.
Okay, so that's it
Yes.
for now. Thanks a lot to Rohanda and Shomnath for joining us, and also to all of our viewers. Also, let us know your prediction and comments below in the comment section. Whom do you think will get passed into the next round of this World Cup? So that's it for now. Thanks for watching. See you in our next show.